Hey there guys, what is going on? It is double XP weekend in Modern Warfare Season 5, and of course that means you have an opportunity to test out a lot of these new weapon unlocks if you haven't already done so. Today we are of course taking a look at the ISO SMG, which is one of the new weapons that have been added in of course Season 5. It's a bit of an interesting weapon, I'm not gonna lie. It sounds excellent. Like, it's one of those weapons that always sounds like you're doing great damage and meaty bullet shots, and it feels good. But the damage can be a little bit lackluster sometimes. But we're going to talk about the best ISO SMG class here today. Just before we do get into talking about it here, let's try and get this one to 25 likes. Mostly because they fixed Captain Price's eyes. And also, look at this bird. This bird is flapping around. That is very, very cool. Another one of those things from the Battle Pass. Anyway, make sure if you haven't already done so to hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming Season 5 content. Still got loads of stuff to cover. Still haven't unlocked or taken a look at the AN94, which I'm very, very excited about. I've heard really good things. And let's just jump straight into the ISO class here today. So normally we go over our sidearm perks and grenade choices here just because it is a fairly good option to start with, but it's actually kind of important here, our secondary. We are of course taking the M19 here. The rest of the attachments don't super matter lots. Like, you can of course run like an extended barrel, some monolithic suppressor, some lightweight trigger. The rest of that stuff doesn't really matter too much, but what we really care about is of course the ammunition. Here we're looking at the ammunition with the 32 round mags, meaning we get the maximum amount of bullets with this particular secondary, but because the ISO does shoot 9mm rounds, this does combine very well. And of course then you combine this again with the fully loaded perk on the M19 and we get even more bullets. Like, I think we end up with about 300 bullets to shoot. Like, of course we do have to sacrifice a bit of our secondary, like this isn't super powerful, but of course having more bullets with our maximum weapon, which typically does start only with a 20 round mag and moves up to 30 and 50 and so on, is very, very powerful here. This is a weapon that has a fire rate that is slightly slower than the MP7, so it does shoot quite quickly, so we do end up running out of ammo quite quickly. So again, we do need those extra bullets, so this is a very, very important part of our class setup. As I said, the rest of it doesn't really matter too much. Our usual perks of EOD, Ghost, and Tracker here. EOD for reducing that explosive damage that we do take. Of course, very, very important for most objective game modes. Ghost for staying off of those UAVs. Again, lots of people are running UAVs on the new maps, which I think are excellent, by the way. And of course, Tracker for seeing those enemy footprints. Very, very powerful. C4 in the lethal slot as a very powerful killing tool, as well as a great piece of utility. You make that little smoke screen and you can move around the map. And of course, the tactical is of course the stim shot. Very, very strong here. Now, as I said, the ISO is an interesting weapon. It does have a great sound effect, so it does sound like you're doing a lot of damage, but where the actual bullet damage is about a 4 to 5 to 6 shot kill sometimes. So it can be a little bit unreliable, but I think with this class setup we can do some serious work here. Starting us off with our barrel here, this is one of those barrels that does give us that damage range, recoil control, bullet velocity, sound suppression with the FSS Nightshade. Again, typically these are in the order of range, velocity, and control, but they reverse this for some reason just to make it a little bit more difficult for me to read. That does give us that sound suppression, makes it a little bit easier for us to hit our shots at range, makes the weapon very, very powerful. Of course, we want that Merc foregrip as well. Normally we are running the Merc foregrip on most of our SMGs for that recoil control, as well as a little bit of extra hip fire. I think it is a quite noticeable increase to our hip fire accuracy, as well as about a 4% increase to our movement speed. This basically does just help us keep on target, make it very easy to hit those shots again. The ISO does start out with a 20 round magazine by default, which is of course not enough. We do need 30 rounds, or even the 50 round drum mag can be usable if we sort of run a couple more aim down sight attachments, but 30 rounds is enough for me in this particular circumstance. Just combining the 30 round mags with the fully loaded perk from the M19 as well as the ammo mod, basically we get a maximum of about 360 bullets or so to shoot, which is very, very strong. We want that rear grip in the FTAC Elite ISO grip, which is of course aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, stipple grip tape stats here, very, very powerful again. Getting those sights up nice and quickly after getting attachments that sort of reduce our aim down sight speed is super, super strong. Now, our last attachment is one of those that is kind of interesting. Here we can of course take the stock for that FTAC Vagrant in that aim down sight speed variety. If you want more aim down sight speed, more movement speed, you can get the ISO Collapsible, which is basically just the no stock. Again, makes it a little bit harder to control that recoil, but it's up to you here. But another great option in this particular slot is the perk slot, of course, sleight of hand. There is a reason this is one of the last unlocks for the perk slot. Basically, you can reload very, very quickly with this, so you can always swap out the stock or the grip for the sleight of hand if you want to make it a little bit easier to get those bullets into that gun. Of course, I think this is a very, very powerful class setup in the game right now. It's always fun to use new weapons, and we're just going to jump into some gameplay here on the new map to show off how we can play with this particular class here. Alrighty, so this is of course Suldal Harbor, which is one of the new maps, as I was saying. This is an interesting map, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's a bit different. I mean, it does of course play better on those I knew we were going to go that way. It does play a little bit better on those, of course, not straight up killing game modes. Like Headquarters is of course a very interesting map with this particular game, as well as like Headquarters. Or did I say Headquarters already? Headquarters, like Hardpoint. Another one up there. Get the double. You can see the weapon feels like, if you don't have this particular silencer on, the weapon does actually sound quite menacing. It does sound like you're doing an awful lot of damage per bullet. But upon my testing, this is usually like a 4-shot kill or so on, which is, it's a little bit rough, but I mean, that's fairly standard for SMGs. But that does actually make it have a quite slow time to kill, which is a little bit disappointing. Our ping is going very, very high right now. Okay, I think it's kind of back to normal at the moment. Okay, I was not expecting there to be a man on the right, but that is just bizarre. Apparently people getting kicked left and right. Like, that was... Is he this way? Yeah, you're behind that box there. I said, it's an interesting weapon. It's not going to be like the highest damaging SMG in the game. You're not going to like absolutely tear people apart like you would if this was like an MP5 or something like that. But it's a fun weapon to use. I'm actually more excited about the AN94 than I am about the ISO. I think that is going to be a better weapon, just because it's just one of those weapons that is... Oh, okay, we don't want to go that way. There's definitely going to be somebody trying to challenge us around this alleyway here, especially if we just sort of take it nice and slow, walk up nice and quickly. Got to be here somewhere. No, he was not waiting for us, which is a little I did not realize that was a teammate. I thought I saw some blue dots and got confused. I think if you land a headshot, we can do about 36 damage per bullet, which is actually, that's quite significant. Like, that's a lot of damage. That makes it about a 2 or 3. It'd be a 3-shot kill if you chuck a headshot in there or land 3 headshots, which is, that's a lot, not gonna lie, but man, they need to nerf the FAL. They need to nerf the FAL soon. I know they're planning on it, but they need to do that very, very soon. Just get over here. They're all dead. But when I did get this weapon, I was already theorizing about what we could actually do with it. Once I did learn that it does shoot that 9mm ammo, it's already had the gears turning. I knew that the M19 would be a good combination with it, and we need those extra bullets. So combining it with the fully loaded perk and then the 32 round mags was always going to be a very powerful option. Yeah, you can't... Another one here. Do super well with the FAL at very close range. Like, they're going to be a great option. Okay. I'm just going to go. I don't want to be here. I want to keep this streak alive. We're doing quite well at the moment. But I feel like that... Oh god, the server's dying again. Oh. No. Yeah, free kill, boys. Free kill on the bug. So you start getting those bullets down range and you actually be very, very... Move, idiot, move. You can actually be very, very effective with this, which I was not expecting when this dropped. I was like, oh, it's going to be a okay at, like, SMG. It's going to be one of those weapons that's kind of cool, but it's probably going to be limited by its, like, ammo. I just want to kill that one specific dude over there. We are working towards that. How did he not die? Yeah, I don't think there's... Alright, we can definitely get behind this dude here. Where did he go? Right. I'll take that. Get that support heal. This is a long... No, the FAL again with a headshot. He's close enough for that headshot to be a one-shot kill, which is ridiculous. Like, he only shot me once there, man. He shoot me in the head and I die. That's ridiculous. Alrighty. The FAL was an interesting combatant. Like, every single person on this game was using the FAL, but... we'll have our final thoughts on this particular weapon in just a second, because I think it's a lot of fun to use. So of course that was a fairly interesting gameplay with a lot of the lag there, but what do we think of our ISO class? Well, the ISO is a fairly unexciting SMG, unfortunately. But that being said, this particular class setup is one that is workable at sort of medium ranges, sort of close to medium range. Do some serious work with this. Like, you're still going to rack up your kills and you're going to be fine, and everything's going to be fine if you do use this particular weapon. The damage isn't super strong, but you fire enough bullets at someone and eventually they're going to die anyway. Let's try and get this one to 25 likes for the ISO. Again, very, very excited about Season 5. All the content is very, very exciting. We'll be back with another class setup very, very soon. Like looking at the AN-94, the FAL, we got to look at the Bruin because it's still busted. Like very, very strong weapons in the game at the moment. Loads of people using the FAL, which is a little bit frustrating, but you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, thank you very much for watching this one. I do appreciate it, of course. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!